The other day I got a question. Why do you keep telling people to stock up before these shortages get worse? Well, the answer is because these food shortages have been getting worse for a while. This is nothing new. And I'm telling you to stock up and prepare now, because if you wait too much longer, you would not have anything to buy. You might not have money to buy the products that you need. Now, let me address why. Because about a month ago, President Biden said that food shortages would be a real issue. They would be real, and they would impact us all. Well, turns out he was 100% right. Everybody is now being impacted by the current food shortages. These are sweeping the globe. It's not just here in the US. But what's interesting about the shortages that we are currently seeing is that the warnings have been on the wall for months. Food shortages have been going on since the summer of 2021. Even before that, we were seeing small shortages. We knew that in other countries, they were already stocking up on supplies. Australians, they had to stock up to ensure that they had enough food. And this was back in September. Here in the US, we were told back in, I believe, November and December to ration meat, as there could be a shortage right before Christmas. We heard that there were shortages in turkeys before Thanksgiving. Right? In January, people in China were stocking up on food prior to their government buying it all up. And now here in the US, we're seeing a shortage of corn, soy, soybeans, wheat, poultry, eggs, right? The list seriously goes on and on. And this is just what we are being told. We also know that worker shortages, drought, rising production costs, all these things are causing additional food shortages. But we don't hear much about that. And there's a reason why. Nobody wants to tell you about the drought that's happening down in California, right? Nobody wants to admit that, yes, climate change is here. It's real. People don't want to talk about worker shortages because, well, why would we? Our unemployment rate is just so low, there can't be worker shortages, but there are. Nobody wants to talk about rising production prices because, well, that means we're paying more probably for gasoline, which we are. And nobody wants to talk about that because then we are going to admit the truth that, yeah, there's other things outside of just COVID, other things outside of just, inflation and blaming it on Russia and what's happening in Ukraine. We can't be that naive. We can't say that, it's all because of Russia. And once Russia is out of Ukraine, everything's going to be fine. Maybe things will get better, but doesn't mean the food shortages are just going to go ahead and correct themselves. Well, here's what we do know. According to multiple experts, just this past week, they are now saying that we are going to see more and more food shortages, and they're only going to get worse. And right now, it's not all because of actual shortages. Experts say that if we continue to see prices rise over the next couple of months, which is expected, they say consumers will likely stock up on essentials. Now, let me ask you this. If you were to open up your pantry, okay, open up your cupboards, do you have food in there for the next 2 weeks? 2 weeks, that's it. And I ask this because everybody should. According to experts, that's not even being prepared. You want to be prepared. You want to be stocked up for, I believe it's like 2 to 3 months worth of food. But experts say that no, just 2 weeks worth of food is just what everybody should have. Here's the problem. With prices so high on a lot of these foods, many people, especially lower income households and middle income households, cannot afford to stock up on 2 weeks worth of food. Because in the end, a lot of this food is going to go bad before they ever eat it, or some will never eat it at all. Now, I read this report that says that for the average person, and here in the United States, we actually eat a third more than we need to. A third more than we need to, which means we're actually over consuming food, but at the same time, there's a shortage. And some say, well, maybe the shortages are due to the fact that people buy too much, buy in excess of what they need. Now, Here's what I can tell you. If consumers stock up on essentials, these are the things that experts say would most likely go first. These are not, this is not a list of, top item, to the bottom, okay? This is just a list of things that they would say would probably go first. This list includes canned goods, dried beans, lentils, dried fruits, pastas, grains, jams and jellies, oats, packaged tuna, ramen noodles, powdered milk, and rice. Now that's not a comprehensive list. That's just a list I quickly put together, but just keep in mind that that is what they're saying. Now these are the things that if you go into a store, chances are some of these things you're gonna see. Now I always see dried fruits, and one of the reasons why I see dried fruits is because they're more expensive. They are much more expensive. Okay, and so that's one of the reasons why they're always there. I see dried fruits, I see jams and jellies, I see oats, and I see rice. Okay, I do not always see powdered milk. Ramen noodles are one of the first things that are gone when we see price spikes, right? So those are pretty much out. But that's one of the things that, hey, if you are in a pinch, you're in a bind, these are the things that you should be getting, because you could pretty much feed yourself, right, with just this list that I gave you. So it's essential. Make sure you buy the stuff that you need and things that will not go bad. Bread is not something that they say to stock up on, because obviously it's going to go bad. Actual milk in a gallon, do not buy that because it would eventually go bad. Okay, meats, probably going to go bad. If you want to, get some protein, maybe get some jerky. Okay, get some dried meat. Don't go and get actual meat that you have to go and cook, because chances are it also would go bad. Now, remember, prices for food are already up 10%. That's just in this past year. And some economists are predicting that food will likely reach 13% before we see it come back down. But here's the other problem. What multiple economists are saying is that food prices are likely to stay elevated for the remainder of 2022. So what they're anticipating is, so food prices are currently at 10%, okay? So let's say 10% is where we're at. Let's say in 2 weeks, or a little under 2 weeks, we see food prices go up to 12%. And then the next month goes up to 13%. The problem there is it's gonna go up, but then it's gonna sit. 13%, 13%, 13%, might fluctuate a little bit, but then eventually by the end of the year, we would start to see it slowly come back down, okay? But it's not gonna come back down very quickly. At least that's what the reports are indicating. So what I can tell you is that you need to stock up, okay? I'm not saying go and buy the entire store. I'm not saying spend all your money on items that you may or may not ever eat. I'm just saying stock up, because these food shortages are expected to get worse. And so before things get very bad, okay, dramatically worse, go and get what you need, so you're not fighting other people to go and get these items. So you're not paying more for the same things you could get today. All right? If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.